Hello and welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Boo.
Come on, man. You don't remember that?
I remember the people who actually did it, not...
Well, I mean, it's my name or close to my name. Welcome back, Carter.
Yeah.
From back in the day. Most of you guys won't remember that anyway, but welcome back to the show, Mysteries and Beliefs podcast show. I'm going to introduce my co-host right off the bat. My co-host Lisa is with me as usual.
What up?
And on today's show, we're going to talk about astral projecting in the astral plane.
Let's go.
Do you know what that is?
Yes, I have a personal story. No, I'm kidding.
Is this the real world? Is this the real? Are we in a real world?
Hey, listen.
Yeah, that's a huge controversy in astral projecting and its differences between the astral projecting, the near-death experiences, lucid dreams, but they all kind of do the exact same thing.
They do.
I get really confused on all of these. Don't know the difference personally for me.
Right.
What the differences are, but they say there's a difference when you astral travel compared to just lucid dreaming.
Right.
Well, first off, I'll read a quick...
Probably explain it.
Well, we're going to explain it throughout the show. We're going to talk about it throughout the show. The
astral
understanding
projection is.
So I'll read a brief description of or definition of astral projecting or astral plane. In occult cosmology, the astral plane is one of several, most often 7 to 12 planes of existence, among the physical, etherical, and mental. Although humans function within all the dimensions at once, they usually only conscious in the physical plane. The astral plane is the level beyond the physical, the realm of dreams, spirits, and psychic phenomena. The substance and vehicle for contact between the mental and mystical. Within the astral plane, there are believed to be numerous densities and vibration, commonly divided into lower, middle, and higher planes, each associated with distinctive color and sound. So that's a brief definition of what the astral plane is.
I mean, if you need it broken down, it's basically your body's, it roams around.
Yeah, and that's why I said it's
go ahead. That's why I said
I was just saying it's similar to, all the others, lucid dreaming and near-death experiences. Before we get into the meat of the subject, I'm going to tell a quick story.
Mm-hmm.
I told you and our reoccurring regular this story the other day because we're talking about astral planing and near-death experiences and stuff like that. You remember the story that I told you the other day when I was watching TV and I fell asleep?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember it very well, but I'll tell it for the people out there.
Tell it for the people in the street.
So I was watching this movie called I Will Go Down With You.
Okay.
The movie stars Haley Joel Oswalt, which is from The Sixth Sense, and Rufus Sewell, which was starred in the TV show called Man in the High Castle, which was about the multiverse and there's other dimensions. If you didn't watch that show, that is a fabulous show. So I was watching this movie and I put my Bose noise canceling headphones on so Lisa can sleep and I can listen to the movie. So I started watching this movie, and this movie is about other dimensions or going into the multiverse is what this movie was about. So I had my headphones on. I got really comfortable. And all of a sudden, all I saw was a white light on the ceiling. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh shit, am I dead? I mean, for real, I didn't move for a long time because all I looked up and saw was a white light. There was
Jesus?
there was absolutely no sound at all. There was no sound.
Right.
And all I saw was a white light in the room. And I'm lying down, looking up at the ceiling, looking at this white light. I'm afraid to move because I don't know what's going on. So I sat there. Actually laid there because I was in the bed sleeping. I laid there and I moved my head ever so slightly. And I felt my earphones on my ears.
Mm-hmm.
And again, let me preface by saying these are the Bose noise canceling headphones, and they block out every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So in the room, we usually use a diffuser. So we do oils and stuff at nighttime, and you can hear the oils, or you can hear the diffuser go off. You can hear the heater and the heat and things like that. But with this, like I said, I heard absolutely nothing, which scared the shit out of me. And the light, where did that come from?
Your watch?
No, my phone, because I was using the Roku remote app on my phone because that's the only way you can listen through your headphones. So I had my headphones synced with I had my headphones, connected to the phone so I can listen to the television. So that's all it was.
Right.
And I just woke up, I took my headphones off and I put them up. I'm like, oh shit, I'm still alive.
What a relief.
Woo! I'm still here. Now,
Elizabeth didn't come to get you.
Oh, Sanford and Son.
Yeah. I'm coming to get you.
I'm coming to get you, honey. So what we'll start off with is try to understand the differences between the three of those. And with lucid dreaming, it's you dream, but you can control your dream.
Right.
You don't really leave your body, but in that dream, you can control what goes on.
Right.
So you can manifest anything in those dreams.
Yeah. You control your reality, basically.
And with near-death experiences, you leave your body just like astral projecting.
Right.
So your soul leaves your body and travels.
Right.
Near-death experiences, that's near-death experiences. And with astral projecting, your soul leaves your body.
Yeah.
And depending on how experienced and what level you are as far as your practice and training of going astral projecting and going to the astral world is as far as you can go.
Right.
Because like I mentioned at the top of the show, there's 7 levels is what I've read. But with those, you really can't control your environment in astral projecting.
Really?
So you just go, it's because it's considered another world. So you really can't control another world. It's just like if I went from here to France, I fly over to France, but I can't control my environment. I can't turn this little shack into, a Ritz-Carlton hotel.
Oh, that's
Do you know what I mean?
Got it.
So
I see what you're saying.
In reading this, you can go to these different astral worlds and you can't control what's in the world, but you can communicate with some of the beings that are in the world.
Mm.
So let me back up a little bit. Now, in different levels of the astral plane, there are, I don't know, is it your spirit? Because they've called it so many different times and so many different things in things that I read.
Right.
So it's your spiritual body, I guess that's for lack of a better word. So your spiritual body leaves your physical body.
Right.
And it goes to a plane of existence.
Yeah.
And some of the planes of existence, you see different colors, different lights. There may be different beings, like I said, that lives in this existence. And you just kind of roam.
Just visiting.
Just visit. You visit this existence. And this is something that you can do consciously.
Yeah.
Unlike near-death experiences, you go into the astral plane. You don't really have a choice. But when you're lucid dreaming, you create this existence.
Sure.
But with astral projecting, you do not create this existence. We are among these different dimensions at the same time,
Right.
but we cannot get to these different levels or these different dimensions or astral planes without training or being able to astral project into these planes.
Right.
So,
have you ever tried it?
no, I've never tried it at all.
No?
I mean, because we've talked about it previously on the show.
Yeah.
But something like that, I would be kind of nervous because although I've been doing some research on it, I've read several things. I'm halfway through a book about astral projecting.
Oh,
But
are you?
yeah, but most of the things that I'm finding is that is training to become, to astral project. They
Mm.
explain what astral projecting is.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's differences in your culture of what the astral planes are.
Sure.
There are slight variations, but I mean, it's, a similar concept. But in these books and just different videos and things I watch, they tell you how you should do it.
Yeah. Meditate.
And you
all that stuff.
meditate. And they said or mentioned in this particular book that I'm reading that if you practice lucid dreaming and meditation, it's easier for you to astral project.
Yeah. It's easier for you to do that.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts about this? Because I mean, I don't see any scientific data or evidence behind anything. There's an existence of the astral plane or an astral world or different spiritual dimensions or anything like that.
What do you call the people that study dreams and things? Those are probably who we need to confer with.
But see, dreams are different between
Well, it's like
astral
lucid
projecting.
dreaming.
You would look more towards somebody that's in the spiritual realm. So
Right.
somebody in that field instead of somebody that studies dreams, because people that study dreams are usually like psychologists or psychiatrists and things
Right,
like that.
but some would argue that it is a form of dreaming. Some people.
I know, and that's what I said. There's the controversy behind it because lucid dreaming in definition is almost exactly the same
Right.
as astral projecting, but the only difference is in astral projecting, you leave your body.
Right.
Your spiritual body leaves your body. In lucid dreaming, it doesn't.
Mm.
In lucid dreaming, you're in the dream, you are aware,
You're aware.
that you're dreaming.
Yeah.
You can control your dream. And
Yeah.
then when you're done, you can just come back.
Right. Yeah.
So you wake up. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
In astral projecting, you push out your spiritual body
Yeah.
into a different plane of existence.
Yeah.
So you go and observe this plane of existence. But when you come back, you just come back into your body.
Right. Right.
So, and this is a thing that they did talk about was when you leave your body, people always get the sense of hovering above.
Yeah.
That's,
everybody
says that.
Mhm.
You get a sense of hovering above, looking down, seeing your body.
Right.
Again, near-death experiences, is it exactly the same?
Yeah. You're
As
over your
astral
body
projecting.
looking. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
They even have directions on how to do it. Whether it's Pinterest, TikTok, what's the other one? It's all over the place. You can find it. Astral projection for beginners. But they warn you as well while you're there because they'll talk about the benefits and the dangers.
Yes. And that's exactly what I've read. I've read a couple of articles about this. I'm reading a book, and just as I mentioned earlier, that's pretty much all you hear is how to begin astral projecting.
Right.
Because like I said, there's not a lot of real concrete scientific data behind it. Most or all of the data is anecdotal data because you can't study this. You can
Right.
only go by what people say.
Only go by what people say. I'm just trying to think of how it came to be. How did it get its?
Yeah. And this people have been astral projecting since the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time, they talk about it.
And different religions, different cultures, they astral travel. And I think most, I believe, is the Buddhist and Hindu.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who, I guess, I don't know if I can't think of saying more into it
Sure.
as a culture than
Yeah, maybe. That would make sense.
because that's what I've seen because a lot of the videos that I watch were, people that were from India.
Sure.
And I saw some Buddhist people that were talking about astral projecting. And it was all pretty much based around meditation.
Yeah. Around meditation. That's everything that I've read on it. I find it interesting that they say you can travel between your own timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that really interesting. It was also in a book that I read. It's on our Audible, by the way. I can't remember. I think it was called Spiritual Portals or something to that effect. And the lady, she was writing a book regarding meditation, or pardon me, mediumships and things like that. And she was going with an open mind whether to debunk or to validate. And one of the gentlemen she met, he knew how to do this. And she said she was in the back of the car, or pardon me, she was driving after his interview. She was driving away, her and her friend, and they thought they heard or felt something in the car. And he called her and said, yeah, I don't know, something, keep your eyes on the road, or I'm in the back with the cat, something to that effect. And she was going, because we pulled over, basically, we thought something was happening. We thought something was in the back of the car, and it happened to be you.
Yeah.
That was a little.
In the astral world or in one of the astral planes?
I guess so, yeah.
And they talked about in this book I'm reading that is inches away. They also go by inches away from your body. I guess that has something to do with your aura and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess the more you can glow and vibrate with your aura, the higher level of dimensions that you can go into.
Right.
What was very interesting in the book is that they talked about people that do meditate and practice astral projecting go to these different planes of existence for healing.
Sure.
So they go for actual physical healing that says by doing this, it actually decreases the amount of time of your physical body, injury or whatever it is, to heal by going to the astral plane.
There's so many benefits that people talk about getting into astral projection. They talk about the on maybe a spiritual level. There's nothing you can really do.
Yeah, and that's a lot of it is a spiritual level.
Right. But also it could hinder you. Your goal is you're constantly changing timelines. You're traveling, you're doing all these things. But if you're in negative thought and all this, or you're there, is it hurting you, or is it hindering your growth, or is it helping you? Those are the things that they across the board stress, that you cannot go into this having negative thoughts and letting your ego take over.
Well, let me tell you, in the book that I've read and some of the things that I've watched and a couple of articles that I read about astral projecting, you have to keep your emotions in check, because as soon as you get in any type of distress, you automatically come back into your body.
Right.
So the astral experience is over immediately.
Immediately. Right.
So you have to keep and that's why they said meditating and things like that are good to practice.
Right.
Because you can keep your emotions in check and you can stay in the astral realm longer. And also, not only people go to experience healing, or they go to get enlightened about things, because they said there are different beings of existence there. There may be angels in there. There may spirit guides that are in one of these astral planes,
right,
that you can go and get guidance from them.
yeah,
So to answer your questions about my existence,
right.
what should I
Your
do?
spiritual
Yeah, your
guides.
spiritual guide. So
Yeah,
they said you can go to these planes to get that guidance from these beings or angels that are on these different dimensions or different levels of astral planes.
right. And even your Akashic records. Your Akashic records it's like the record of your energy, basically, for lack of a better term. You can seek what your purpose is, what you're supposed to be doing, what you did in the past, things like that. And if you believe in spiritual guides, you'll find out. You can ask who your personal guides are, your name.
Yeah.
I think even supposedly you're supposed to have a spiritual name yourself. Like your name's John, but in the spiritual realm, it could be called something else. But
Juan.
Why Juan?
That's John in Spanish.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But like you're mentioning, like you said, different names of things. And I think in different cultures, the different levels of existence have different names. I couldn't really lock down the different names of the dimensions or different planes of astral existence or astral worlds or astral realms. I mean, because it's called so many different things.
So many things.
And, the 7 levels, I can't really, say level 1 is this, level 2 is that. But I also read that there's, like I said, different levels that you can practice to be. Sorry for the interruption. I think our little doggy's looking at our ghost in the house. I think the ghost is back. Something else that I did read, it has to deal with your chakras also. And that's something that you talked about previously on the show, different chakras. I don't really understand it as much. I'm trying to learn this stuff. But, you have the solar plexus chakra. You have the, was it pineal
Your third
chakra?
eye.
There are different chakras that also surrounds the astral plane.
Yeah.
So does the chakras, and I'm just even talking right now, I'm kind of confusing myself because I try to read some of this to understand it, but it's so much conflicting data about astral projecting.
Right.
Because there's nothing that's really straightforward at all.
So the chakra purposes would make sense because you can meditate on them. They're focal points, they're energy spots, basically, for your body, their energy. It's, what are they called?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a better term to explain it to you.
Yeah, we talked about that before, and we could probably add something in the show notes about
basically
some of the data.
You want your body to be in harmony.
Yes.
You want your body you want things to flow through you evenly.
Yes.
So when they're blocked, they have a hard time passing through. And you might notice you might get sick, or maybe you weren't as creative as you write a book and all this, and then you go, gosh, my first book was great. The second book, I have no thoughts, whatever. It's all in relation to your energies and things. That's the easiest way I could explain it to you. But it's like your solar plexus, that they need to be open. Those bring out your creativity. But also your, you say pineal, I say pineal.
That's the pineal gland.
I say pineal. Let me just say it. Let me say
Okay.
pineal gland. And
You can have.
thank you. They're all, and your vagus nerve, they're all in relation to it. And all of that helps you meditate and bring you to a deeper level of understanding, as it were,
Okay.
of self. And that's what it's about anyways.
Now, to play devil's advocate with this,
Yes.
are these people just dreaming? Are they making this up? Because, again, all of the data is anecdotal.
Sure.
It's not concrete evidence of astral projecting, the same as we don't have concrete evidence of there's a heaven when people
Right.
die. So there's no way, to prove any of this.
No.
When it comes to lucid dreaming, you practice that. You go out of body, and people take drugs as well, specifically DMT, to get this same experience that you get as astral projecting.
Right.
There's chemicals in your brain, which DMT is a part or a chemical that exists in your brain and in your body.
Yeah.
That you can heighten or increase and cause these experiences that you have. And hallucinogenic drugs can do the exact same thing.
Right.
We've watched different movies with people doing drugs. I mean, they're movies, but they show these people going in like different worlds, and different animals look the same, flying pigs and things like that. And to them, it's real.
Right.
Because your mind is telling you this is real.
Right.
And when you're on DMT, I mean, it enlightens you.
Yes.
Because
we've heard about people saying that.
Yeah. But is it just because the drug itself puts a calm in your brain?
Maybe.
So afterwards, you're done with your DMT. I don't know if you call it trip, but I'll say experience with DMT.
I'll call it trip. You can call it experience.
And you come down from this experience and you just feel better.
Yeah. Isn't that the whole goal?
That's the goal. And that can be achieved through meditation. That can be achieved through psychology. Someone talking to you.
Yeah.
The same. So there's different ways to achieve this.
There's different ways to achieve what?
This sense of not feeling good, but self-comfort.
But
you know
that's
what I mean?
not just what it's about.
Or what's a better word for it? Not self-comfort, but more of a, how about this? You have more of a sense of spiritual healing when you come down off of these drugs. Or even if you talk to your preacher, your pastor, your rabbi, or whatever.
But there's supposed to be levels though, right?
Yeah, there are different levels, but this is a beginning level.
That's why people do it. Yeah, but I'm just saying that's...
So, and speaking of drugs, you're talking about this is why people do it.
Yeah.
You said there's different levels.
It's levels to the sheet.
The more you do sometimes a drug, the less effect that the drug has.
Yeah.
So you have to do it more.
Sure.
So is it the case that you get to a certain level of your astral projecting? You're on the first, you're in the second level, but then that it doesn't give you the same feeling as the first time. So you practice to get in higher levels, the same as you do one drug and you have to increase the amount of drugs to get to chase that same feeling that you had before. So you're continually going up a different level or ratcheting it up a different notch to experience or feel that same thing.
I think for the purpose when people do different types of drugs or mushrooms, I don't think they're legal here yet. I know in Utah, they are that you can take certain mushrooms or what have you. Not encouraging it, but I don't think it's a higher level each time. I just think that that's your trip. That's your trip. Does that make sense? That's why people do it for maybe a spiritual awakening.
Yeah, because you have Native Americans doing peyote and stuff like that to go to their ancestor realm.
Yeah.
The same thing as astral projecting. Same thing as people doing DMT to get to this spiritual feeling or get one with yourself.
Yeah.
And when I try to Google some of the stuff as far as the astral planes and astral worlds, a lot of video games came up. Video games and movies.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They were talking about different video games and, if you want to reach this plane of existence, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to read this one because it's going to give me more information about what these astral planes and these different astral worlds are.
Yeah.
And as I look in and as I read, I'm like, this is a goddamn game. And the same thing with the movies.
Really?
Yeah, one of the movies that they reference in one of the reading is Doctor Strange, or actually in this book that I'm reading, they reference Doctor Strange because there's a point in the movie when Doctor Strange is fighting.
Right. That's the astral plane.
Yeah, because my boy, Scott Adkison.
Who's that?
That's we talk about him all the time. He's the martial arts guy. He should have been Batman instead of Robert Pattinson. But he was in that scene. It's him and Doctor Strange fighting, and they're fighting in the astral plane.
Right.
The thing about that is, like I mentioned earlier, that if there's any sense of struggle while you're in the astral plane, you immediately get put back into your body. So how could you fight?
But there's different levels, though.
No,
Doctor Strange.
But that's what the book was mentioning because that is, a movie. And real life, when you astral project, you have to have a calm mind.
Unless you're Doctor Strange, sir.
It's a movie. Like I said, and again, they reference the movies and they reference the video games.
Yeah.
That's not how it is in spirituality.
Yeah.
It's not the same. So you cannot go into the astral plane and fight somebody.
Imagine that.
You can't do any of that.
Right.
And it's weird that they reference movies and video games on a lot of the information that Google was giving me. And that's why I said it's kind of hard to find real information. I could not find any studies on that. Again, most of the studies were people lecturing about their experience and their studies of astral projecting, not an actual data collecting study on people that astral project.
Right.
No EEGs on their heads saying that, oh yeah, this person is, their brain activity has increased, while they were sleeping, but they're not sleeping because they also reference that people could be sitting on the toilet or whatever and just go, okay, I want to astral project right now while I'm, taking care of my business in my physical body.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're just lying in their bed and it's like, okay, I'm kind of bored watching this TV show right now. So I'm going to go ahead and astral project to another plane of existence. And they also mentioned that when people astral project, they astral project from places that they feel comfortable and safety.
Right.
Because if you're like, say, for instance, at a New York train station, lying on the bench, you're not going to feel comfortable.
Right.
And you're not going to, astral project because you're afraid somebody's going to mug your ass. You know what I mean?
Probably wouldn't pick that place to do it. And they say find a quiet place.
Safe, quiet place.
Quiet place, to do it. I think, would you ever try it?
I don't know. I'm not sure because we haven't even talked about the dangers of astral projecting also. What was mentioned in this book that I'm reading is there are beings that enlighten you. There are beings that give you guidance. There's spirit guides. There's angels in some of these astral planes. But there are also people or beings of existence in some of these planes can actually suck your energy.
Mm,
So,
maybe I wouldn't go there.
well, you don't know.
Yeah.
Because if you're a beginner and you really don't understand what you're experiencing, and you come across this being and you've read in different, things and in your research and your journeys that these things are spirit guides.
Yeah.
But it could be something that's sucking your life force out of you.
Sure. One of the articles, speaking of science, I guess, or aliens or what have you, you could, for instance, the book that I was reading, he called the lady and told her everything that she was. I can't remember who else was doing that. I just saw a YouTube about it. That's how you can prove it. You get objects or something in your house. The person that knows that's a professional astral traveler, will travel to your house and say, you have this here, you have this here, you have this here. Oh, it's a lady on TikTok I follow. She was giving readings and she says, hold on one moment. And then she would go off. And, you get sucked into it because it's alive and you're going, what is she talking about? And then she told the lady she had a red hat on the floor and something else in the house. And the lady goes, how did you know? And then people in the comments were saying, yeah, because you panned the camera there earlier. That's probably why. But
I know. But no, you're onto something with that, because that's what the government tried to do at one point in the 60s and the 70s, I believe.
Yeah.
They were training people to astral project or travel.
You did mention that in the other show we did.
Travel to other places to get like information from, I guess the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So they did actually put some money in that. That's, that lasted, I think, maybe 30 or 40 years.
Imagine if they're already putting it to use right now.
They may be.
But other countries are more advanced because they're a little bit more spiritual than our hellhole here.
Yeah. Yes.
And kidding, guys. So I'm saying, what if? And they're using it against us. I don't know.
It could be.
But I think it would be real interesting if they were to, scientists would say, okay, let me entertain you. Because really, the person who discovers it, they're the one that's going to win a prize or, like what is it, Nobel Peace Prize, all that stuff. They're the ones who, they'll have it named after them. You know what I mean? They'll have something named after them once they prove it. So that's, I just think it's pretty interesting because some people will say, well, it's a hallucination. But how many of people are productive members of society? And then they say that that's just something that they do in the evening. But they're maybe CEOs, they're owners of, big businesses and all walks of life. A fireman, you think, if a fireman comes out and says something like that, you think he's hallucinating? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they say, that everybody can't have the same or can't be lying if everybody's saying the exact same thing.
Right. Yeah. And well, that's the thing. And there's more people saying it and more people trying to get to that side. More people are trying to tap into that side of their brain. And I want to see the difference in person, like a person that does peyote or a person that does LSD and then another person that just does, oh, well, no, I just meditated and I did this. Like you were saying to your point earlier, what would be the difference in that,
Yeah, because Chantel talks about lucid dreaming and stuff like that, that
Mhm.
she's had lucid dreams and stuff. And, like I said, it sounds the same to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And can you explain to me the difference between the two from your perspective?
No, I can't.
Yeah,
I
and
just know that it's interesting to say the least. And I follow a person that does hypnosis. There's two people that I follow that do hypnosis. Some people would argue that that is part of hypnotherapy. But
that
here's
that
the thing.
astral projecting is part of hypnotherapy.
Yes. And here's the thing, though. If that's what you're doing and it made you feel better, you're not hurting anybody. Who cares?
Yeah,
Really?
that's true.
You know, if it made you speak to your higher self, you know what I'm saying? You don't abuse alcohol. You don't do things. What do you call it? You're not putting anybody in danger by
No,
doing
yeah,
any of that. So
that's definitely true. I mean, if you're not harming anyone, and if that makes you feel good, I mean,
why not?
yeah, why not do whatever?
Yeah,
But the name of the program that the CIA had was called Stargate, and I believe they
that's right.
collaborated with different countries like Russia, maybe Germany, on this project. And in the 70s, but I believe 60s and 70s, they employed these people and they did research on different people that said they were psychic. So they brought
Mm,
these people in, again, so they can collect information from the enemies, pretty
right.
much is what they did. And when the programs was thought to be over or not funded, that it was still in existence beyond that time that they said they cut the program. So do we know today if they're still, using psychics or, people that astral project? And there's, talks of it with law enforcement using psychics to help them with different cases and stuff like that.
Right.
Are these people that are mediums, is that the same thing that they do because
Yeah.
they talk to people in different spirit realms? Is it that they can, you know, project or get information from these people from these different planes of existence during their waking time and in their physical body
You're right.
without having to leave their body or their spirit body, leave their body to get this information?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because all of this kind of like melds together when it comes to that, because mediums, psychics, and all that, it has, all of those, they deal with the spiritual realm,
Right.
you know. So is this all the same? Is our mind creating this stuff? It's like I said, it's something that you just can't really see to understand.
So then, what was Freddy Krueger? What
I guess Freddy Krueger would be a lucid dream.
was it? Lucid Dream? And what's that movie where they kept pinching themselves to make sure they're awake?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I can't pull that movie right now.
Oh, and also, wouldn't that be similar to like what Inception was that I'm still confused about? You got to watch it
Yeah.
20 million times.
Yeah.
They have a movie that people were talking about on Netflix. I think it's on there now. We should check and we should watch it. I'm going to pull it up. Hang on. I think it's called like Behind Our Eyes, something like that.
Yeah. With the Inception, they did it through drugs.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. You remember they sat
I
down in
don't.
those chairs and they injected themselves with those drugs, and then they went down to the different planes of existence
Yeah.
to be able to manipulate the world around them.
Yeah,
And that's the same thing as lucid dreaming.
that's true.
But they, projected this stuff into the real world at some point.
Yeah, yeah. That's true.
So, I mean, you know, everything kind of coincides together when it comes to this stuff, because even us living in a simulation,
Yeah.
those were talks about that in some of the lectures I listened to about astral projecting, and listened to some of the people, the Hindu people actually talked about that.
Yeah.
They mentioned, like we always do, the Matrix.
The Matrix. Yep.
You know, we could be just lying somewhere, and this is not the real world.
No. Yeah.
This is just made up in somebody's mind, or this is just a big computer simulation. That's it.
And then
And you can't prove it.
You can't prove it. But
You can't prove
your
anything.
brain is like part of a nifty little code.
Yeah. And when they create video games, when you go into a video game, you can't go into another level until you actually, beat this first level.
Unless you're in the metaverse.
So when you go to the next level, as you progress in the game, just like when you're running in a video game, you can't really see the end of the game.
Yeah.
It just manifests as you go along.
Right.
So it just creates this different portions of this world as you run along. It's not just there for you to see.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I was saying that I've seen and I've heard that your mind is creating all of these things that you see.
Yeah.
When it comes to lucid dreaming or people remembering their dreams anyway, people say, oh, I dreamt of this, or psychics, like you said earlier, when they said, oh, she panned through the room, that they go, oh my God, I saw this person before. And I think I talked about this. You may have seen this person like every single day.
Yeah.
But you really don't know this person. You have no type of interactions with this person. And then one day, this person's in your dream.
Yeah.
And then the next day, you notice this person.
Yeah.
The reason why you notice this person is because you've seen this person every goddamn day that you go to work, but this person just for some reason came into your dream.
Yeah.
And that's why they said that when people lucid dream or people dream and they remember these dreams and somebody told them this, is that their brain is remembering certain parts of your waking life.
Yeah.
And just, creating, recreating it, certain bits and pieces of it in these dreams that you have.
Sure. And I think it would be hard to, I was going to go back to proving it, but.
Yeah. How can you?
Yeah.
How can you can't really prove it.
No.
And I watched the TV show. You were in the room, and I know damn well you didn't pay attention to it.
Probably not.
But it was somebody that is, he's like Dan Brown, whatever they call these people. But Mindscape or whatever they call these people. I'll think of the word and I'll input it. But he had these different celebrities on there. So with these different celebrities, he picked out like different like tricks that he was doing. They brought in Ben Stiller. They were asking him questions and had him write down some stuff. So when he went back, they asked him these questions. So they said, well, pick a number. And it was several different numbers and things that he picked. So
he was a mentalist.
A mentalist. There you go. So he picked these different numbers and these different questions that he was asking them. And then these people that were standing there had cards. And then when they turned the cards around, it was the exact same number, the exact same numbers. And he was like, how did you do it? And they showed in the video how the guy was standing right beside him the entire time with the first number on his jersey.
Yep.
And then the second one, they had it was on the basketball court. The time on the clock on the scoreboard was there the entire time, which was the second number he picked. The third number he picked was written on the basketball that he was holding the entire time. And then when they turned it around,
Don't forget the door number.
and the door number. And then when they turned it around, he picked all the numbers. And then when they flipped it upside down, it spelled out Stiller.
Yeah, it was
So
kinda
he
cool.
put this all in this guy's brain. Just like I was saying earlier, that things from your waking life can be recreated in these dreams, but you think it's something new that you've
Right.
never seen
That
before.
you've never seen before. Yeah.
And because we nowadays,
Mentalists hold the key to that, and they know how to implant stuff. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
it's making your subconscious mind notice something, but again, it's in your
Well, remember
subconscious,
we were watching that one where
like subliminal messages.
he said, you remember commercials used to do that.
Yeah,
and then
subliminal
they
messages.
made it illegal.
Illegal, yeah.
Yeah. But the guy said he wanted a bike, and he goes, "Why do you want a bike?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "I don't know."
And
Yeah.
he showed that's Dan Brown that did that.
Oh, okay.
It's Sean, I can't remember his last name, but he's a very famous British actor, comedic actor. It did Shaun of the Dead. I don't want to look up his name right now, but he made him want a BMX bike. But when he first came in there, what was written down is he wanted a leather jacket. And another thing that Dan Brown did, he walked into a store with blank paper and bought
Oh yeah, that was great.
bought jewelry with a blank paper and walked out of the store.
Yeah.
So people, they can imprint these, these things in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And this day and age of the internet, we have so much TV. We have so much stuff on the internet. We're just overloaded with different sights and sounds compared to what it used to be, because we only had 3 or 4 stations back in the day.
Yep.
But now we have every damn streaming station that you can imagine. How many times you flip through TV and you're not really paying attention to it? Or you could be reading something else while the TV is on.
Yep.
And then you have a dream about this and you go, oh my God, you know what? Deja vu.
Mm-hmm.
No, shawty, that was on TV last night
Right.
or the night before last. It just got stuck in your subconscious. And now you're bringing it out because you noticed something else. And it's just like like our car. We bought our new Nissan.
Yeah.
We never even thought about these cars. But now that we bought this car, we see them everywhere.
Everywhere.
And that's the same
car.
thing. The same damn car, same damn color. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't notice it at first.
Yeah.
So
it's
and that's
amazing what your mind can do.
And that's why, to circle back, that's why, I honestly think that a lot of this is created in your mind. Things that you experience are such out of body. I can't prove it. I can't prove it that it's real.
You should try it.
I can't debunk this at all.
Right.
Because I can't
dismiss or disprove.
Yeah, I can't disprove your experience that you had.
Sure.
But it's hard. It's really hard for me to understand that.
I would try hypnosis first, and then if that went well, then I would try the astral projection.
Yeah, but you have to be susceptible to hypnosis in order for it to work.
Well, that's what they tell you. You have to listen to certain music to get or sound, not waves, because sound waves is not even a real word, but
yeah,
like hemisync, and you get your right brain to because your left brain is the one side is going to be the one saying this is not real, this is so not real, but your right side will be it. No, it is. This is what I'm saying is definitely real.
You go on to YouTube and again watching and trying to find some things and talks and research about this. Like I said, it was a lot of information about how to practice or begin doing astral projecting. And in this, it wasn't anything, there wasn't a lot of explaining what the different realms of existence is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, I'll practice it. And, then what?
then you're connecting with your higher self. You're healing yourself. Some people that I watched on TikTok, they did it for healing.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, they definitely wanted to heal and on grief. That was the big one there's a lady that her parents passed like within weeks, and she decided to try that for healing and to also see them on the other side. There was like a whole reasoning behind it, but it was grief that she couldn't bear. So she started doing Astral for beginners, and she said she did.
It helped.
It helped with her grieving process because she knows that there's levels.
Yeah,
basically.
And also with looking at some of this stuff, it was a lot of meditation videos.
Yeah.
It was a lot of, you just mentioned sound and music. It was a lot of meditating music to astral project. Those are most of the things that I did come across. There wasn't very many stories about astral projecting.
Nope.
And when people talked about their, astral projecting experience, I mean, I couldn't really understand it because it just sounded like these people were dreaming. That's all it sounded.
Because that's the way exactly they explained what it sounds like. Yeah.
To me, the way they explained it, it sounds like they were dreaming. They weren't having a true out of body experience.
Right. I want to see someone do it in person.
But how would you know? You're just laying there with your eyes closed.
No, I would to the person that does it, I'd go, can I just watch you real quick? And then I would say, can you do it to my husband because he's a skeptic? And then.
But do what? Me watch them sleep?
No, I'll be in one room watching the person astral project. And then you'll be, I don't know, at the grocery store.
And have them pick out something that I'm doing?
Yeah, pick out something that you're doing. Grocery store would be perfect because that's unpredictable.
True.
They'd be like, you don't know what store you're going to. It'd be harder for that because what are you going to tell someone in their house? Oh, there's a cup on your coffee table. Do you see what I'm saying? Everybody has something.
You have a coffee machine in your house? Oh,
you have a picture and a mirror.
You have a bed. And your bed is.
Make up your bed. Okay, how many people? Do you see what I'm saying? How many people don't? What you call it? Oh,
it's
you
like
use the
reads.
Same lotion I use. Really? What is it?
Yeah, it's like cold reads that, the mediums and psychics do.
It would have to be something unpredictable, but I'd be interested. I want to know if there's military out there that secretly go into places.
That are still doing it?
Yes, that go into, that'll go behind enemy lines. Enemy lines. And go, yo, they said they're trying to bomb.
Why do they need people to astral project when we have drones?
They could, but it's not the same.
I guess because the drones can't get inside the building.
Yeah.
But back to the movies, they can make little micro bugs like on Ant-Man and fly around and see everything.
And what's the other one? What is it called? The
Fifth Element.
The Fifth Element. Remember the bug? They had the little camera on the bug.
Mm-hmm.
Could do that.
Our technology is getting out there. So, I mean, we could possibly be doing this.
You can do it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think we've said all we can say because I think
it's interesting.
Yeah, I hope you guys out there, are interested in subjects like this.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely a mind-boggling subject, and it does, deal directly with your mind and your consciousness.
Yeah.
If you guys have had these experiences yourself, or you astral travel or astral project, you lucid dream, or if you had a near-death experience, you should tell us that story because we would love to hear your stories. We would love to share your stories. You can be on the show to share the story with all the people out there.
Yep.
Just email it to us at johncarter@mysteriesandbeliefspodcast.com. And it's a long name, but guess what? If you go to the episode, you can click on it, your email will pop up, and you can send us a message.
Or go on Instagram.
Or you can go on Instagram. Send us a comment on Instagram.
Or Facebook. And we also have a TikTok as well. And, leave a comment on iTunes. You can give us a ratings. Give us that 5-star on iTunes, too. Subscribe. Listen.
and share. Tell your friend, because your friend might like it too.
Cheesy. Okay, bye.
Okay, guys, until next time,
Peace.
peace, love, and hair grease.